thumb, handsome, knife. What's wrong with these words? These words, like many other words in English, have silent letters, and you are probably mispronouncing these words. So we write silent letters in English, but we don't say them. Watch this video till the end, and we'll go through all the silent letters in English. Let's practice together, let's review and answer the question why they are there, why do we write them, and why we don't say them. Let's start. So, why are they silent? Okay, silent letters can make spelling confusing and pronunciation tricky. But once you understand the patterns, the rules, English becomes clearer and easier and far more predictable. Silent letters exist because English spelling is a mix of history, borrowed words, or as we call them, loan words, and old pronunciation that changed over time. As The Independent nicely says it, silent letters are the ghosts of pronunciation past. Older versions of these words had pronounced many of these silent letters, but today we don't pronounce them. So let's break them down letter by letter, okay? And look at the most common patterns that you can use, and explore the words you see every day. Very important, guys. There are various reasons why silent letters are in English and why they are silent. For example, historical changes, loan words from other languages, okay? So I want to encourage you not to ask why certain letters are silent and why we write them but we don't say them, because many of you in the comments were asking me, why do we even have to write that letter? Well, that's the word, we don't change it. That's how we write it, that's how it's spelled, but we don't say these letters, okay? And I want you to rather focus on learning these words and learning these cases of silent letters in English and avoid making mistakes in spelling, writing, and pronunciation. Let me repeat that again. Don't ask why they are silent. Don't try to answer the question why we write them but we don't say them. Rather, focus on learning all of these cases and pronouncing these words correctly. And that's what you will be able to do at the end of this video, okay? So why should you even care about silent letters in English? Well, it's about pronunciation and speaking. If you say these words incorrectly, like in the beginning of the video I said knife, of course it's not knife, it's a knife. K is a silent letter in this case. Now, these kind of mistakes make you sound less fluent and they affect your pronunciation, of course. Then, it's about spelling and writing. Recognizing silent letter rules helps you avoid common spelling mistakes. So, very often you remember that that word, like thumb, thumb, is pronounced this way. But if you don't know the spelling, you will probably forget about that B at the end, but you have to write it. So you see, it's a like double-edged sword. On the one hand, you should remember that you don't say these letters, but on the other hand, you should remember to write them, in writing, And last but not least, it's listening and comprehension. When you hear a word, you'll know which letters are silent, so you recognize the correct spelling in writing, okay? And that's very important for some dictations or whenever you have to type something quickly. So you listen to someone saying it and then you are typing that, right? So if you have all this knowledge, you will be able to do that easily. Okay, let's start. Silent A. So letter A appears in EA patterns like bread, dread, and so on. Adverbs ending in ically, basically, logically, magically, and so on. We don't say letter A in these words. Also, words with unused A at the start, like aisle or aesthetic, Silent A usually appears for historical reasons and older spellings. Remember, don't ask why, just learn it. And now, let's practice. I want to repeat I want you to repeat after me, basically, okay? I say first each word, and you practice with me and repeat these words. That's gonna be a very productive and, practical video, yeah? Let's do that. So, repeat after me. Aesthetic, aisle, artistically, basically, bread, critically, dread, fanatically, frantically, head, logically, magically, musically, physically, romantically, spread, stoically, thread, tragically. As you can see in all of these words, letter A is silent. Now, you could debate whether it affects the pronunciation or not. Of course it does, but remember, I'm asking you not to focus on these questions, rather focus on correct pronunciation. Really, that's your goal here, right? Because each of you watching this video, you want to sound natural, yeah? Just like natives. And that's our task today. Now, I'm asking you to, make it more engaging and make it more interesting. Please write in the comments which word from the list with the silent letter A was surprising to you, was the most surprising to you, okay? Maybe you used to say letter A, but now you know that you shouldn't say it. So please write in the comments below. And we are moving on to the next letter B, silent B. Silent B most often appears after M. Remember the first word I said? Thumb. Correct pronunciation is thumb. This finger is called thumb in English. We don't say letter B at the end because it comes after M. Words like dumb, crumb, thumb, climb, and so on. Also, before T, words like debt, doubt, okay? The B used to be pronounced, but the sound disappeared while the spelling stayed. Again, just like in many of these cases. And now, let's practice together. I say first, you say after me. Let's go. Bomb, breadcrumb, climb, comb, crumb, debt, debtor, doubt, dumb, lamb, limb, numb, nim, plum, plumber, subtle, subtlety, succumb, thumb, thumbtack, tomb, and womb. Leave a comment below with one word that you want to memorize, okay? Something that will help you basically commit to learning. Leave a comment below so you can memorize this better. And we are moving on to the next letter. Let's go. Silent C. Silent C appears after S in words like science, scissors, scent. Also in irregular spellings like yacht, indict, acquire. In most cases, the spelling is historical or borrowed from French or Latin languages. And now, practice time. Let's do it together. I say first, you say after me. Abscess, acquire, ascent, crescent, descent, disciple, fascinate, fluorescent, indict, muscle, obscene, scene, scent, science, scissors, yacht, czar. Good job. As always, try to add some comments. In the comments below, write one word that was surprising to you from this list. Moving on. Silent D in English. Silent D appears in DG clusters. Bridge, ridge, edge, ledge, hedge. As you can see, we pronounce J sound, but there is no D at all, okay? Now again, you can debate whether it affects the pronunciation. Yes, it does, surely, but our task here is to get you from point A to point B and make you pronounce these words better, faster, and more naturally. So just forget about D and say that word without D. Silent D is also not pronounced, right? In older pronunciations like handsome handkerchief, or in the middle of Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Of course, only one D is silent in Wednesday, right? Only first D is silent. D in the word day, Wednesday, right, is pronounced, okay? The letter remains in spelling for tradition. Okay, now let's practice. Repeat after me. Budget, bridge, cartridge, edge, fridge, gadget, grandma, grandpa, grandson, handkerchief, handsome, hedge, judge, knowledge, ledge, nudge, ridge, sandwich, wedge, and Wednesday. Okay? Again, write in the comments below if something surprised you in this list, okay? And we move on to the next letter. Let's review all the letters. Stay in this video, guys. Watch till the end if you want to know all silent letters in English. So, silent E. Silent E appears inside words like vegetable. You can see here actually two E's are silent. Not the first one, but the second and the third one. Vegetable. As you can see, the last E and the second E are not pronounced. At the end of countless words like imagine, debate, excite, make, and so on. Sometimes it changes the vowel before it, sometimes it simply stays silent. Let's review the examples. Repeat after me. Adore, axe, bike, brute, cage, candle, crime, debate, die, due, dude, die, eek, excite, grace, goose, imagine, make, mute, pie, black, toe, true, use, vegetable, vegetable. Okay, I encourage you guys to follow along the list. Look at the list, look at those words, so your spelling is also trained, yeah, because we have to do two things. We have to, even three things. Listen, yeah, to what I'm saying. Then repeat after me out loud, that's your practice, and also look at the words because you are, having another type of input. You are looking at the word and how it's spelled, and that's also helping you memorize these words, okay? Leave a comment below with one word you want to memorize. And let's move on to the next one. Silent F. The only common silent F appears in one pronunciation of fifth. We don't really say fifth. Yeah, the first F is not silent, but the second one tends to be pronounced silently, so not pronounced at all. It is extremely rare to have any other words with silent F. Moving on, silent G. Silent G appears before N in words like gnaw, gnash, gnome, align, benign, and so on. And before H, sigh, high, light, night, and so on. These patterns come from older pronunciations that simplified over time. And now let's practice. Repeat after me. Align, assign, benign, bright, champagne, cologne, pain, fight, foreign, gnarly, gnash, gnat, gnaw, gnome, gnostic, high, light, night, rain, sigh, sign, sight, thorough, though. Write in the comments one word that was the most surprising to you guys. Let's move on to the next one. Silent H. Silent H appears at the beginning, like words like our, air, honor, after C, anchor, chaos, character. As you can see, H is there, but if you just tell yourself that I just don't pronounce that H, you will start saying these words correctly, like Christmas. You see, Christmas, character, commonly mispronounced word, character. So many students say character, but no, in this case, we don't pronounce CH, we pronounce just K. No H here. Also, H is silent after W, when, where, which, why, and so on. And in other words like ghost, rhyme. In many cases, the H once affected the sound, but no longer does, okay? Let's practice. Repeat after me. Anchor, chaos, character, chemical, choir, choreography, chorus, Christmas, echo, ghost, air, herb, American English, but in British English they say herb, honest, hour, rhyme, white, wine, whistle. Remember to look at the words, listen to my version, and repeat after me aloud. That's your practice. That's how you commit to learning. Keep watching and let's review all the silent letters. Up next is silent I. Silent I is rare, found only in a few words like business, suit, and fruit. In these words, we don't say letter I, but we, of course, write that letter. Next, silent J. The only common silent J in English is marijuana, marijuana. J almost always keeps its sound, so only one word, marijuana. Next, silent K. Silent K appears at the beginning before N. That's a common rule, and if you look at all of the words, they all start with KN. Words like knife, night, knock, and so on. This pattern comes from Old Germanic pronunciation. Let's practice. Repeat after me. And remember to look at the words, listen to what I say, and repeat out loud. Show me your commitment to practicing English. Say these things really out loud. Don't miss a chance to practice your English. Let's go. Knack, knapsack, night, knit, knife, knob, knock, knoll, not, know, knowledge, knuckle, knuckle, knee. Leave a comment below with one word that was new to you and you want to memorize. Let's move on to the next letter. Letter L, silent L. Silent L appears in should, would, could, also words like talk, walk, salmon. The vowel before the L often lengthens, but the L disappears. Okay, so repeat after me. Look at the words and repeat out loud. Cough, chalk, could, fork, half, salmon, should, talk, walk, would, and York. Okay, very common mistake here. So many of my students say L, or at least very, very lightly, they still pronounce it in words like should, would, could. Remember that these words, we don't say L. These are modal verbs, and we don't pronounce L in these words. So say should, would, could only. Up next is silent M. Silent M appears only in a small set of MN words that start with MN, like mnemonic or mnemonics. Okay? Moving on to silent N. Silent N appears before M at the end of words. Words like autumn, column, condemn. The N was once pronounced but later dropped. Repeat after me these words here. Autumn, column, condemn, damn, him, solemn. These words, we write N, but we don't pronounce it, okay, in these words. Next is silent O. Silent O appears in words like people, jeopardy, leopard, rough. Sometimes O supports a specific spelling tradition. Let's review these words together. Chocolate, comfortable. Notice how much shorter it is. Comfortable. Cousin, double. Enough, jeopardy, leopard, people, rough, tough, trouble, young. Again, don't ask the question why it's there or whether it affects the pronunciation or not. Just focus on not saying O, and you'll be golden. Your pronunciation will improve, and you will say these words correctly. Moving on to the next one, silent P. Silent P appears before S, words like psalm, psyche, psychology. Also in Greek medical prefixes like pneumonia, pneumatic, and in irregular words like raspberry, receipt, pterodactyl. Most come from Greek or French spellings, okay? Let's practice them together. Look at the words and repeat them after me. Practice, practice, practice. Let's go, guys. Core. Yes, this word is pronounced as core. And don't confuse this word with the word corpse. That's a different word. This one is core. Pneumatic. Pneumonia. Psalm, psyche, psychology, pseudonym, pseudoscience, pterodactyl, raspberry, receipt. Receipt is very commonly mispronounced word. Many of my students say receipt, but it's receipt, yeah? So P is silent here. Write in the comments which word with the silent letter was the most surprising to you. And let's move on. Silent Q. Silent Q is extremely rare. One example often cited, lacquer. That's the only word with silent Q. If you focus on not pronouncing this letter, you will most likely say this word correctly. Silent R depends on the accent, really. So, besides the common pronunciation of the word February, the first R is silent here. In British English, R is often dropped in words like walk, car, park, brother, better, teacher, fork. But we are talking more specifically about British English. Now, the same words in American English would have R, and they would say something like work, car, park, brother, better, teacher, fork, right? So apparent R there. But in British English, we don't pronounce R. And actually, that will make you sound more like British or American. Say letter R in the word work, and you sound like an American. Don't say that letter R in the same word, and you sound more like British. Work, work. I go to work, I go to work. Big difference, right? Up next is silent S. Silent S appears in words island, isle, debris, and so on, often from French spelling traditions. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. Isle, Arkansas, bourgeois, core. S is silent here too, just as P. P and S are silent in this word. Core. Debris, Illinois, island, isle, Viscount. Write in the comments below which word surprised you the most. Up next is silent T. Silent T appears before L, words like castle, whistle, thistle, bustle, in French loanwords like ballet, gourmet, buffet, and so on, and in other words like mortgage or tsunami. Let's review them together. Repeat after me. Asthma, ballet, bristle, bustle, buffet, castle, fasten, gourmet, hustle, listen, moisten, mortgage, ricochet, soften, thistle, tsunami, ballet, whistle. I encourage you to write one word in the comments below to help you memorize it, okay? So just commit to learning and write that word. Some of the common mispronounced words here are, I guess, would be castle. Many people say castle. Or words like fasten, right? Don't say fasten, it's fasten. And a very common one is mortgage. So many of my students said mortgage, but it's mortgage, mortgage. All right, moving on to silent U. Silent U appears after G, words like guard, gas, guide, and in common spellings, build, biscuit, circuit, and so on. Often the U changes the G sound even though it is silent, of course. Repeat after me. Baguette, biscuit, build, circuit, colleague, commonly mispronounced word, colleague, dialogue, gas, guest, guide, guilt, guitar, laugh, league, monologue, rogue, tongue, vague. Leave a comment below with one word that you want to memorize. Some of the commonly mispronounced ones are colleague, of course, and word like gassed, okay? Also gas. Now, about colleague. Colleague comes from the word league. You have it on the list too. It's like the person from the same league. It's my colleague. Remember this pronunciation correctly because it's a common word. We use it every day, almost at work. Yeah, my colleague, okay? Next one is V. There are actually no standard English words with a true silent V. Poetic contractions like never, yeah, without V, simply remove the letter entirely. But it's more poetic. You can see that in certain poems or songs. Now, one quick interesting fact, yeah? Whenever you see an apostrophe at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the word, that indicates that there was a letter and it was removed. Words like cause, yeah, it's because, yeah, was removed. Or till, the letter U was removed and now it's till, but it used to be until, and so on. So whenever you see an apostrophe, that's a removed letter. Most of the time, of course. Next one is silent W. Silent W appears before R. Words like right, wrist, wrong, okay? Just forget about W and say it without it, and you will sound correctly. Words like rap, yeah, or wrestle, and in other words like answer, sword, to, who. Let's review them together. Repeat after me. Answer, rap, rapper, rack, wrangle, wrath, wreath. Now it's Christmas time and there are lots of wreaths, yeah, wreath. Rack, wrench, wrestle, wriggle, ring, wrinkle, wrist, right, wrong, rye, sword, to, who, and whole. As you can see, the last word doesn't have W at all, right? None of them have. Whole. So many students mispronounce and they say something like whole or whatever, but it's whole. Just like the word in black hole. Whole, right? The same pronunciation, whole. Then we have three letters that are not commonly silent. Silent letter X appears mainly in French-derived words like fa, ru, and so on. Silent Y is pronunciation dependent, such as in one version of beyond. Some people say beyond, so you clearly hear Y, but in some cases, natives say beyond, beyond, so you just don't even hear that Y. It is extremely rare, so Y is very rarely silent. And the last one is Z. Silent Z appears in some French loanwords, for sure. Words like rendezvous or laissez-faire. There is no Z sound at all. Now, thank you for staying with me, guys. Let's review a couple of important points. So we reviewed all of the silent letters in English alphabet, yeah? We checked all of the cases when each letter of English alphabet can be silent. So, silent letters that change vowel sounds. Couple of important points here. Some silent letters do more than stay silent, and that's true. Many of you asked me, so all of them just don't change the pronunciation at all? No, of course they change pronunciation in some cases, like silent E lengthens vowels. Rate, home, fine, okay? That vowel is longer. Or silent GH can change vowel quality, like night, light, or thought. Now, imagine if there was no GH, it would be knit, lit, right? But GH is present there. Yes, it's silent, but it changes the pronunciation. Light, night. But you see, you remember, right? I told you that it's better to focus on the pronunciation, just that case, and learn how to say that word correctly, rather than dwelling upon the rules, origins of this rule, and so on, okay? So these letters shape how a word sounds, even if you never pronounce them. True. Now, let's talk about mastering silent letters, some main points, and then I will offer a quiz, a quick test for you to check your knowledge. Let's go. How to master silent letters. Number one, focus on patterns. Group words by silent letter type. For example, silent G before N, like gnome. Yeah, you know the creature? Gnome, right? You know that G is silent before N. So it's actually a good idea to learn of these rules, some of these rules or patterns. Number two, use phonetic transcription while you learn words. This shows you which letters are silent. It's really helpful. Each dictionary has a phonetic transcription of each word. You can just look up the word and see, double check whether that letter is silent or not. So many of you in the comments were saying that no, this is incorrect, this information is wrong, but you can easily check it. Just go to Cambridge Dictionary or Longman Dictionary and see in the transcription, do you have that letter G or letter H or letter U, any letter, right? You can easily check that. Number three, practice with real life vocabulary. Everyday words, not just textbook lists. Well, it's kind of apparent, all of these words, if you just learn them from the list and never use them, never try to, make a sentence with them, you will never learn them, really. But if you start like using these words, looking it up in a dictionary and seeing the meaning and so on, you will learn them faster. Number four, read aloud and listen to native speakers. Hearing correct pronunciation helps initialize pattern. Absolutely, whenever you hear, every time you hear a native saying that word, you remember, oh, that's another word from K-and pattern, right? Like knife, no, knit, not, and so on, okay? And last but not least, review and repeat. Silent letters become automatic over time with consistent exposure. Now, what do you think? How do I, a non-native speaker, how do I correct my students whenever they say the silent letters? I just know them from repetition. Imagine if you teach many lessons a day, you just repeat all of those things and they become automatic. Same can be done in your case. You just review this video, review those lists, and you will make that automatic. Now, let's do a quick test. I prepared 10 questions for you in a quick test to test your knowledge of silent letters. Let's go. Quiz 1. Silent B. Which word contains a silent B? A, B, C, D. Which one? I'll give you some time to think. Okay, so is it cub, thumb, table, or rob? Clearly, you could hear that I did not pronounce B in the word thumb. That's the correct answer, B. Quiz 2, silent K. Which word has a silent K at the beginning? I'll give you some time to think. Okay, so knit, kite, kit, king. Which word? Obviously, it's A, knit. Quiz 3, silent W. Which word has a silent W? First, review the words, give me your answer, and then let's read them together. So which word has a silent W? Let's review. Water, wood, wrench, wolf. Obviously, it's C, wrench. We don't pronounce W there. Quiz 4, silent L. Which word includes a silent L? Ball, cold, walk, call. It's obviously C, walk. Walk, to go for a walk. Silent L. Quiz 5, silent H. Which word has a silent H here? Horse, home, honest, heat. It's obvious that it's C, honest. We don't say H there. Quiz 6. Which word contains a silent G? Goat, gold, sign, great. Very easy. The answer is C, sign. We don't say G in the word sign. Sign. I don't hear any G, do you? Quiz 7, silent T. Which word has a silent letter T? I'll give you some time to think. And the answer is correct. C, castle. Because look, table, water, or water, yeah, castle, and time. So only castle here has silent T. Quiz 8, silent P. Which word contains a silent P? Plate, pine, psychology, or paper? The answer is C, psychology. Quiz 9, silent S. Which word includes a silent S? I'll give you some time to think, and your answer is scent. As you can see, there is no letter S. We don't pronounce letter S. We say scent, C, scent. Soon, sun, see. As you can see, in this case, in those other words, we pronounce letter S. And the last one is silent O. Which word has a silent O? Is it nose? People? Open? Only? Which one? The answer is B, people, right? Good job, guys. Good job. Thank you for doing this quiz with me. Now, what's next? This is basically the end of the video, but I have something important to tell you here. Look, wanna get all of these mind maps? I can send you all of these slides so you can repeat and review these words. I'll give you the link in the description to this video. Want to receive a weekly update with all of the tips and things I discover? Subscribe to my newsletter and get weekly tips. I send a nice newsletter every week to inform my students about all of the nice things I've developed, filmed, discovered, and I also share breakthroughs of my students, which is super valuable. Wanna more English lessons? You can subscribe to this channel not to miss the next weekly lesson, because next week I will release a new video. So subscribe, guys. Do you need help with English? Then you can book a lesson with me on Preply. Remember that on Preply they offer one trial lesson for free. And if you like this video, give it a like, leave a comment to support this channel, and I will see you in the next one.